Did you think that that was going to be like your life goal, or were you just doing this because it was like something cool to do? Because I know later on you saw a Rodney Dangerfield special, and you saw Andrew Dice Clay, and you said, "Oh, that looks cool. Maybe I want to do that." Am I right? Because this is what I'm reading online. I'm trying to study you, so I know what I'm talking about.
No, I was always into music. I was a big music fan. I was also a big comedy fan. All my friends were in bands growing up.
Okay.
So, and they were I just couldn't play an instrument. I tried. So I'm like, I got to get in the business somehow. Maybe as a DJ, I can, at least I'll be kind of in show business, a kind of band thing. Because I was like a big rock and heavy metal guy even when I was young. So I said, maybe I could be like the heavy metal DJ in a rock club. So I was on the radio, like college radio, and I got this job at like a little small station as a DJ there. And I had my own DJ business. So I was doing that before I got into comedy.
Okay.
But then once I got on the radio and I realized I couldn't just say what I want to do and make jokes and become a personality, unless you were Howard Stern back in the day, you couldn't do that. I was like, oh, this sucks. So then I just started writing jokes because I'm like, I was writing jokes anyway to, make topical jokes on the air. And I was always a big comedy fan. I go, let me try doing stand up. Maybe that's, the job that will work for me. And once I get up there once, I'm like, this is what I want to do.
You got hooked right away, right?
Just because I didn't have to worry about a boss. I could say whatever I want. I could wear whatever I want. I love that freedom.
That's awesome. And then, so you were doing stand up, and then you started that Terrorizing Telemarketers series.
Yeah.
Okay. So I read that it was a CD, right? And I read that your ranking, I think it was on Amazon, was something like 282,000. You get on Howard Stern and you go to number 2 after a couple appearances.
Yeah, and I would have went to number 1, but my website crashed because I didn't have enough bandwidth.
Well, no, let's face it. Backstreet Boys were really hot, and that's who was at number 1.
They
now,
were. I don't know.
Let's give some credit to the Backstreet Boys.
I know. I said if I'm gonna, because they were
not too much.
Then. But I really could have went to number 1 if my website didn't crash, because he was just sending everybody to my website when he was plugging on the air, Howard Stern. So everybody went there and was listening to the tracks. And I didn't know about bandwidth or any of that crap, and it just crashed, so nobody can listen. So I think that's why I got stuck at 2. But I did, I was at 282,000.
It's amazing.
Within 1 day, I was at number 2.
Those are amazing numbers. Like the power of that show, and that's where I first found you, was on Stern.
Yeah, no, he gave me a big break, by playing. He loved prank calls. He heard my calls. He's like, oh my God, who is this guy? We got to have him in. Sit in, and then I just became a regular on the show just from prank call CD. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I just made it up. I was just bored at home during the day because I was a comic. I didn't have anything to do until I had a show that night. So I would just try to keep telemarketers on the phone just to mess with them.
Well, it was a great opportunity for you. He really helped you out with, this telemarketers CD. When you released the second one, that's when you caught the eye of Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla for Crank Yankers, right?
Yeah.
Is that when they contacted you?
Yeah, well, they were big fans of the Stern Show, so they would listen every day. And Adam, both of them were sitting in, on the show, just like a bunch of other comics before Artie Lang got the full-time gig there. So right. they heard my stuff. I never met him. They didn't know who I was. Like, who is this dude? We got this prank call show. We want him on our show because he heard him from Howard Stern playing him.
Okay. So
and I was the only unknown comic they picked for that show. That it was Jimmy Kimmel, Adam Carolla. They were already doing the Man Show at the time, so they're really popular. Then they got Sarah Silverman, Dave Chappelle, Tracy Morgan, Wanda Sykes. I was like, I was the only comic that was pretty much unknown that got that gig, which was great.
That led you to working with Eminem. And how was he?
He was great. We found out through a grapevine that Eminem was a big fan of Crank Yankers. And we're like, well, really? Because the show
you never know who's watching you.
We never knew because the show didn't really take off the first season, but they guaranteed us a second season.
Okay.
They figured give it a shot. And then, we're like, it's got no traction. And we got caught wind that Eminem liked the show. Like, wow. How the hell, we didn't think it got out that far. Like so many people could watch it. I guess he used to watch it with his daughter. That was their favorite show. And his daughter's like, how come you're not on that show, Dad? He's like, well, I will. I'll just make a phone call.
I'm Eminem. I can do whatever I want.
And he was always making prank calls on his old CDs anyway. So he was a big prank call guy. So next thing I know, he's on. We go to Detroit to his 8 Mile studio and record a bunch of calls, and he liked the characters I did.
That's
so we did a whole day of phone calls. It was amazing. He was a great dude.
Wow. And at this time, are you hosting that metal show, or did that come like afterwards?
That was afterwards. That started in 2010. This was around 2003, 2004.
Okay. So you're doing your stand up, you're doing crank anchors, you're doing your telemarketing things, and then you get back to the metal scene and you get to host this, and that was on VH1 Classics?
Yeah, VH1 actually started 2008. Yeah, VH1 Classic.
Okay.
From 2008 to 2015. We did it for 7 years.
That's incredible.
That was a great show.
Yeah. Did you? I guess you enjoyed it because that's your genre, right? The metal. That's what you were into.
Like growing up, especially Catholic, I was always getting in trouble. I was always grounded. I had to stay in. So I just made prank phone calls because I was bored. And I would listen to heavy metal because I had 2 older brothers. So that's all my whole childhood was that. So when I get these gigs on TV is, doing prank calls and then co-hosting a heavy metal show, I was fans of all those bands anyway. I was a big music fan anyway. So it was an unbelievable gig. I would have done it for free.
Right. I was just going to say, like, what was the moment, like your biggest mark out moment, like when you get to meet all these bands, right? Who were the one band that you were like, holy shit, I cannot believe I'm interviewing these people?
I think it was the first season we did Angus Young and Brian Johnson. They were in New York promoting an album. We did an interview with them. I just could not believe I was in Angus's presence.
See, it's great when you get to do stuff like that.
And it's become a time capsule too, because guys that have passed away and those kind of casual environment that you guys had, those are like unprecedented interviews at this point. They're like metal history at this point.
Yeah, we had Ronnie James Dio on the show twice before he passed away, and stuff like. So we had a lot of those guys. Janie Lane from Warrant was on the show like 2 weeks ago before he unfortunately passed away too.
Yeah.
Wow. So then I read that you won an Emmy for Inside the NFL, and the thing, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it said that you used your Emmy as leverage to get girls into bed. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Are you admitting that to me?
Yeah.
And it worked? It worked?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think it closed the deal probably.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, some girls impressed that a guy's got an Emmy. Like, wow, I can't believe it. I'm like, yeah, I just got it from working on the show, which I did. It was really an Emmy, but yeah, I think I had to pull that out if I wasn't. It's like, I don't know if this is going to work or not. If I'm going to close the deal with this girl, so let me bring up the Emmy.
So it's not your stunning personality or your good looks. It's your work. Emmy. Is that?
Yeah, it was. Sometimes that's what I needed. I needed to. It's just like, someone showing off. Like, I didn't really have too much to show off, but I could show that off.
Right. No, I read it and I thought it was funny. And so I'm just trying to break your balls. But
yeah, no, it's just like
admitting it. So it's great.
It's like the guy that puts the smart books out before a girl comes over to his apartment.
Smart books.
Like he reads those books. He doesn't. But it's like, oh, wow, this guy's educated. Oh, yeah, I love those kind of books. I just love a good book. That guy's BSing too.
He's an intellectual.
Yeah, I love this. Or, she goes, why don't we watch Dance with the Stars? I didn't really like that at first, but I tuned in one night and it's a pretty good show. He's just lying.
You're just adapting to your environment is what you're doing.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'll pull it because it's a real Emmy. It wasn't like it was plastic. I mean, I really did get it. But.
Could you imagine? Like, she picks it up. It's very lightweight. There's no weight to it. Oh, my goodness. Tell me a little bit about Meet the Creeps.
That was a hidden camera series that me and my buddy Don Jameson did. We just go around with a hidden camera, and we decided to do it on our own. And then Comedy Central took a liking to it, so we did a pilot. Comedy Central used to have a broadband channel, an internet channel, so they put the show on there. Stuff that was a little too edgy for the actual network.
That's what they said. It was deemed too mean-spirited.
Yeah.
It was great.
Give me an example of what you mean by mean-spirited. What's the meanest thing that you've done to someone?
Well, the thing with our stuff was we didn't, at the end, like in Practical Jokers, a lot of shows, we didn't show the reveal. Like, hey, we're just joking. They're like, oh, you got me. Oh, whatever, like that.
Like our a punked?
Stuff, punked. Like our stuff just faded to black. And you were like, oh, man, what happened? I didn't like them to see all. I just going to go, whoa, that was rough.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay.
So one time we took. Yeah, just,
I
we
want
took-
to hear something funny.
All right.
But-
Well, I don't know if
but-
you'll
but
find this
mean.
funny, but this is what we did. We had girlfriends and we took flowers off someone's grave and gave them to our girlfriends and filmed it. So then and they were all excited, whatever. And we filmed that, and then like 2
They
weeks
were all
later,
excited.
they were that we got them flowers, and then 2 weeks later, when we edited that footage of us taking off the grave, giving it to them, we showed them where we got the flowers from.
Okay.
And my girlfriend thought it was funny because she had a sick sense of humor, and Don's girlfriend broke up with him. She was so mad.
You know who didn't find that funny?
Who?
Jesus
Yeah,
didn't
see,
find that
that,
funny.
if I worried about that, then I was like, okay. I remember one time I did a stand-up on George Lopez when he had that late night talk show.
Right.
And I did a penis joke, something about my penis. I forget. And my mother watched it. And she goes, how could you make a joke like that? Your niece that's 11 years old is watching it. I go, Mom,
Thinking about her.
Mom, when I write jokes, my 11-year-old niece is not in my mind. If it is, I wouldn't be a comic. I'd be like, so I don't worry about that stuff. So
Yeah, and people in your family must have to have a very thick skin if you incorporate them, into your act. Like, did anybody ever like take word with you, like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that about me, or are they cool with it?
Well, if they come to see me, I would just drop those jokes that night.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't have the balls to
Smart.
say it in front of them.
No, never. And then my girlfriend too. If I had new girlfriend jokes, if I had a girlfriend at the time, if she was in the back of the room, I just skip those jokes that night.
Yeah, because
So they
then
would never know I did them.
you would have to win another Emmy to get her into bed, and that's not.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not
I don't
happening.
want to
Okay,
do it on the way home. Yeah.
I got you. That's hilarious.
And I'd always tell my girlfriend, I go, listen, this is my work. I'm just bitching about you at my work, just like you do at your job. You bitch about me at your job, like the things I do. So I just have a bigger audience for it. We're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I like if I was your wife or girlfriend, I would let you say whatever you wanted about me, because I never, like, even when I worked, I never took offense. Like, the guys would come up and say, do you mind if I call you this? And I said, you can call me whatever you want. I don't care.
Right.
Like, I know we're friends, and we're acting out there. So you have the floor. Like, they took it, I've been called every name in the book, but it never bothered me.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
Right,
So,
it's a nightclub thing. It's an arena thing. It's a wrestling thing. So you just go, no,
Yeah.
that's just my night. That's what I do at night. That's my job. And when I'm during the day, I'm normal. My friend was nervous about that my son meeting his teachers. He's like, Dad, don't curse, don't be inappropriate. I go, I know how to act. Like during the day. I don't go in there cursing and saying the F word every third word when I go meet your teacher. I know how to act in public.
Right.
At a nightclub at night, it's different.